India delays climate plan as global summit faces reality. Check the UN Climate Summit, COP30, in Belém, Brazil, is dominated by a familiar tension. While most nations have submitted updated climate action plans, India, the world's third-largest carbon emitter, remains a notable holdout. This delay, announced by Environment Minister Bhupender Yadav, pushes India's submission to the end of December, raising questions about its commitment to ambitious carbon reduction targets. The stakes, Paris goals and global emissions. The Paris Agreement, signed in 2015, aims to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees C, ideally 1.5 degrees C. However, current policies are failing. The UN Environment Programme, UNEP, warns that, even with full implementation of submitted plans, emissions will only decrease by around 12% by 2035. To meet the 1.5 degrees C target, emissions must fall by 35–55% by then. This gap underscores the urgency, yet many countries miss the original February deadline for updated plans, nationally determined contributions, or NDCs, with several still lagging behind. India's position. A call for developed world accountability. India's delay isn't simply negligence. Delhi argues that developed nations, historically responsible for most emissions, must lead the way. Minister Yadav has repeatedly emphasized that concrete action, not endless negotiation, is needed. He insists that developed countries must reach net zero emissions faster and provide trillions, not billions, in climate finance to developing nations. This position reflects a broader frustration among developing countries, who argue that ambitious NDC updates are meaningless without financial and technological support from wealthier nations. The Paris Agreement mandates this support, but progress has been slow. At last year's COP in Baku, Azerbaijan, disputes over climate finance led to anger when developed countries pledged only $300 billion annually by 2035, far short of the $1 trillion demanded by poorer nations. The global finance divide. Developed nations also push for private financing, which many developing countries view as unsustainable debt traps. Some, like the European Commission's Wop Hoekstra, suggest that countries like China and India should contribute to global climate finance. This ignores the historical responsibility of industrialized nations and the fact that many emerging economies have lower GDP per capita than some European states. What this means: India's delayed plan is a symptom of a larger problem, a lack of trust and equitable burden sharing in global climate action. The world cannot meet its goals unless developed countries deliver on their financial commitments and acknowledge their historical role in the climate crisis. India's stance, though controversial, highlights a critical deadlock that COP30 must address if real progress is to be made.